welcome to Cali Part 3. I stayed with the local family in a more urban environment. I never heard gunshots or anything crazy. So it wasn't deep in the hood, but it was like very comfortable. Like the people were nice, they were laid back, they had friends and family coming over every day. It was cool. I really enjoyed it. They did not have hot water. And that's one thing I would tell people in Colombia, depending on what area or strato you are in, you won't have hot water. Like it was like I only been in like two places that had hot water. And I think one of them wasn't even an Airbnb. I had to go to somebody's house to take a shower, but I got used to boiling water. It wasn't a big deal. I mean, I'm from an urban environment in the U.S., and I know sometimes if the hot water go off, we gotta boil water. So it wasn't a big thing. I mean, I didn't like doing it all the time. Sometimes I did just get in the cold shower and was like bump it, but it was like something I had to get used to. I left there and went to a place called, I'm going to say it wrong, but how we would say it is Ciudad Jardín. But they say Ciudad Jardín because the J is an H, so Jardín. And it was so nice. Like if I actually live in Cali, I would probably move there. Some people say they don't, some expats say they don't like living in Ciudad Jardín because it's more like retired Americans that live there. It's like a more of a suburb, and they want to live more in the hood where they can fit in more and have more fun. But me, I'm like, just being in another country is cool to me. I don't have to live in the hood to feel, even though when I pulled up in a taxi, I forgot, I think it's called Julia Ruin was the area. It was like really on chill, like the people were nice. It was humble. I like it. I wouldn't mind living there. Actually, any place that I stayed at, except for San Antonio where I saw like the bums sleeping outside, I had to move from there. I wasn't cool with that. But the other places, I was cool. Like I could live in any of those places, really. So yeah. So I moved from there and went to Ciudad Jardín, and I really liked it there. It was not as scary. It was like really nice, clean, laid back. One thing I could say about Colombia, it's very clean. Like even like some places that was supposed to be the hood, I didn't go to like the real hood areas, but the places I went to were always very clean. The people are very clean. In Medellin and in Cali. It's just the sidewalks weren't like new and modern like Medellin, and the amount of graffiti. You know, it looked a little dirty, but it wasn't dirty as far as like trash on the ground and stuff like that. So I went to Las Granjas, which was my last stay before, I was getting ready for my trip out of Cali. And I didn't even know it was hood until a local told me I had to go to the bank and get some money and do stuff. And I went to a restaurant to use my phone because you cannot use your phone on the street. And I was talking to the girl. And a lot of people know English, but they don't like to speak English because they think it's not good enough. And I told her, please, like your English, you had a whole conversation with me. You know enough English to help me if I needed your help. Like, don't be ashamed to speak English, because the first thing they'll say, oh, my English is no good. Forgive me, little English. But then they have a whole conversation and you're like, okay, you may not know English fluently like me, but you still did a good job. And I think some of them just are afraid to speak their English, but they do a good job. So the girl, she left her restaurant, her job, walked me to the bank, and I'm like, wow, that was so nice of her. Like she just left her job. I think her mom owned it, but still, like, you just left it. You don't know me at all. You don't even know my name. You just left to come and assist me in Cali. So she left, walked me to the bank, and she was just asking me questions. Do you like Colombia? You know, welcome to Colombia. And she told me, she said, do you live around here? Where do you live? And I said, Las Granjas. Well, I said Las Granjas because it's a J. She was like, Las Granjas up the street? I said, yeah. She said, no, that's not good. Please be safe there. That's not a good area. But I didn't know. I just walked to the stores every day for like a week and a half. And you know, I didn't have any issues, but I'm like, okay, now I'm nervous now. Like, what do you mean? You know, like, it's not safe. My daughter talking all while we walking through the streets all of the time. And I'm like, wow, all this time it wasn't safe. So, I didn't even know. For a matter of fact, the place where I went where the bank was more uncomfortable to me than where I was living in Las Granjas. So maybe that's like the same area. It was like more bums, and I was a little nervous in that area, whatever area that was where the banks was. I just look on Google Maps and take a taxi to the bank. So I don't know north, south, east, and west that well. But I know Las Granjas, I think, was more near the centro, which is not really that safe at night or something. In the central, I was nervous. I was nervous all through Cali, except for Ciudad Harden. That was in where I said it was kinda hood. I think because I was there with a local family, I had them, so I didn't really feel as nervous. And even if I don't, it's just something about there that was so family oriented. Like, if I had an issue, I feel like I could run to any house and they would help me. Like, that's just how I felt, even though you could tell it was a more poor community. Like, I asked them, like, well, how much is an apartment here? They were like $100, and it was like a 3-bedroom. I'm like, are you serious? $100? It was like, is that expensive? Because they told me it was how much, many pesos? Like 300,000 pesos or something like that. It ended up being like $150 when I put it through my money converter. And I'm like, no, that's not expensive at all for a 3-bedroom. Girl, you can have an office one, a walk-in closet for one, your daughter room. I'm like, no, like, that's not expensive for, Americans. $100. You could be on welfare and move for $100 and have a 3-bedroom and not be on Section 8 or any of that. You won't have hot water. You have to boil water every day, but or get used to the cold water. But other than that, the apartment was nice. You decorate an apartment how you want to, so it was cool. So it was like those two locations I felt safe. It was one suburb and one hood that I felt really safe in. And it wasn't even really a hood. It was probably like the tipping bird of going into the hood type of a thing. And very family oriented. So even if I did get in trouble, I felt like if I went to someone, they would help me. That's just how I felt. But in a lot of the other parts of Cali, I did not feel safe. But I still will go back to Cali before I go back to Medellin, only because the atmosphere is laid back. Like, it don't matter your color. Like, to me, everybody was just more so laid back. So that's my take on Cali. The only reason why I didn't take pictures for you guys and take more videos of the environment, which I will try to sneak and do, is only because I did not want to get shot over my phone. And I brought my phone in Colombia and my clothes, everything in Colombia. So they didn't care. They say electronic. It don't have to be an iPhone or a new phone, a phone, any electronic. So please look out for my next video. I think it will only probably be one more on Cali. Welcome to Cali, part 4.